पिक्चर होती है, एक इमेज निकलती है.
It seems to be
falling in place.
Falling in place, and this itself, and these are all fluid, and though I've separated them, they're actually the testing actually is mediating the inner and the outer. And
so when is the solution coming up?
This is the first part.
Okay.
This taking. This has to do sometimes with the degree of the clarity with which cognition is made possible by these processes, the clarity with which one is able to recognize or one is able to see oneself as enmeshed within the situation. So if one sees oneself as intimately aligned, possibly in the sense in which that lady said, is talking about capabilities. So if one has the capability, perhaps.
This is then it's the entanglement. Entanglement?
Entanglement, because then it draws from one's own conception of ability or one's own agency, or the agency that one ascribes to oneself. These are actually it's intimately tied to the sense of self.
And then experimentation about it.
And then experimentation. I just want to share a 2-minute example in this sense, because last year, for 2 years, we've done summer schools. 1 year we did a summer school in a slum outside Delhi, which was with students who were actually uber rich. So I did a summer school in Delhi with a group of architecture students, and for people who had been resettled from the bastis that were on the Yamuna. And they were resettled to the far west of Delhi, bordering Haryana, and they were about 35 or 40 kilometers from their places of work. And these were, these resettlement colonies were completely not fit for habitation. And so we had a group of students who had never seen even a slum actually go and visit the conditions, and there had been a fire and so on. And so this was one way. When I'm talking about trigger and event, actually it is this that I have in mind, at the back of my mind. And we also did another summer school in which we had a group of English architects, about 30 architects and architecture students, who came, and we actually experimented with bamboo structures in the Kumaon as interim relief, or as disaster, as structures that could be built very quickly post-disaster as response. And so actually, and these were both highly experimental. These were situations in which there was very little, even in my own experience, that I could possibly bring to the table, because everything depended upon what we found, what we saw, what the skills were that were available, how we could take that forward, and also with regard to tools, and also with regard to time and so on. So actually, this is what I've been trying to explain when I spoke about cognition, about when we see something, what do we actually see, and how do we see potential in what we see. So that is mine.
Okay, wonderful. Anybody else? I'll show you some graphs which one of the PhD scholars.
Okay, so Nirmal has invited you to speak out. What do you say?
Once you see, we see something, initially we perceive, then whatever we perceive, we feel, we immediately judge, and after judging we do the recognition whether to act or not. If yes, we want to act, then we need to prioritize. We are just prioritizing and then immediately act on that. So basically there are these three major steps. One is after getting signals in the brain, that is the feeling. Once you feel, immediately you make a judgment whether it has to be whether I or we should act on this or not. If we need to act on that, then the recognition comes. Whether immediately we need to act or we need to first prioritize, then to take actions.
So action is actually, so it can be a literal action, that is application, which we talk about in our different scenarios. But the action starts from thoughts. So what kind of thoughts you have when you look at a situation? So that trigger can happen in two ways. One, that you know that there is a problem. You can talk about it, you can read about it, you can gossip about it, but you cannot do anything about it because you cannot feel that pain. So if you can feel that pain, or it can be in your immediate surrounding, or it can come from any way. If you can feel that pain, then for you, alignment of your thoughts, words and action is possible. Irrespective whether you have capabilities or not, you can take action. Even yesterday when I was asked that I've designed a game, I'm not a game designer. For me it was possible to design a game for children on health education because that need was clear. Even I was facing health issue. I was not able to digest properly anything in the mess or junk food or anything else. So my own condition actually helped me to look at the problem more seriously. It was complemented by that ideal person that I talked about yesterday. That a person who has proved himself, like in India we talk about Mahatma Gandhi. So that kind of personality which can actually inspire you to take that action, not only for yourself but also for the society. So that's how it started. So the application happened also in words and thoughts. How? So when I was thinking about it, I was reading about it, I was discussing it with my friends, I started going to schools. I wanted to understand how children are facing these problems in today's scenario. I also became part of Teach India to understand it more deeply in slum areas. And finally, without knowing that I will be designing a game, I was directed towards designing a game for children on health education. So that's how it worked for me.
Very interesting. It's like the sculpture, sometimes they say, come, come, come. The sculptors who say that I don't, Michelangelo used to say, I don't sculpt. It is there inside, I only remove the unnecessary part of the stone. The image is there inside inside the stone. I'm not sculpting it. It is coming out, I'm only removing the unnecessary part. What a way of putting it, you know. So, you didn't design the game drew you out. Is that what you're saying? And again, it is just a process. You are still on. You will do something else tomorrow.
I just have a question.
Yes.
I don't think my map can compare with the practical application
Now
of
we
these
go,
individuals. But
Okay.
about this ideal man, your inspiration, was this Gandhi for you, or where did this come from? What was your inspiration?
Dr. Daisaku Ikeda, he's from Japan, and he's a peace activist, and he's also a poet, and he's a Buddhist philosopher. He has written many volumes, and the most popular one is Human Revolution.
And why was this inspiration instrumental for you? Because this has been a comment that has been mentioned twice. I mean, the first gentleman also mentioned the role of the hero or something in facilitating this process. For you, just because anything is possible, or why? What did he show you?
See, now there are different kind of people in this world. The one who can achieve it, and the person who can actually show the struggle in his life, the way he has achieved it, is so profound that even when you follow the same path, you will reach somewhere. The same things which we are discussing here for last 4-5 days is that individuality. A person who can respect individuality of every single person, every single child, can actually inspire you. So it can come out of any surrounding. For me, it was Dr. Daisaku Ikeda. By reading his codes, his day-to-day struggle, which you can see in this volume, Human Revolution. So that really inspired me to look at the situation not from just from a viewpoint that it can become a topic of gossip, but to look at the situation where I can contribute. So for me it was health, it was clear. So I could, accordingly take action on it. And it was very much aligned with the literature which I read, Human Revolution.
I just want to